Hey, welcome back to my channel and another screencast. So this time we're going to talk about setting up our repo. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at getting an Azure DevOps account and then navigating around inside of ADO. We're going to create our repo, talk about committing our first bit of code to it, talk about branching strategies, and setting up branching policies should you decide to use a branching strategy. And that's pretty much it. So before proceeding, you're going to need an Azure DevOps account, which we'll get into in just a second. There's a lot of other videos that kind of show you, but I'll show you very quickly the basics. And like I said, there's plenty of videos doing it, but you can get started for free. So let's go take a look. So first thing we want to do is get our ADO account. So just here on everybody's favorite search engine, Bing, with its wonderful ChatGPT backend. And we're just going to type sign up for free Azure DevOps account. Boom. And of course, you got all the advertising garbage, blah, blah, blah. You get down here. So learnmicrosoft.com has everything you need to know when you're doing this development. So first thing is you need to get a Microsoft account. You can use a GitHub account, but well, if you got a GitHub account, you kind of don't need to do this. So we're doing ADO for a reason. I'll cover GitHub some down the road. So anyway, if you don't have a Microsoft account already, just go set one up. It's just, your name at outlook.com, blah, blah, blah. And then we go here to Azure DevOps, and look at that. It says start free. So you click this guy, and you'll be asked to sign in with your account. Need to block that out. And once you're in, you'll fill out the stuff. You will have to put in a credit card. You won't be charged anything. It's just there so that if you decide to switch over to pay as you go, you can do that. Everything we're doing here will be pretty much free, so don't worry about it. I'll also point out, if you're willing to do some work and look around, there are ways to get more Azure credits. So like the account I have is paid for. I get $250 a month of free Azure credits. So like I host VMs and things like that in Azure. There's also things like Microsoft BizSpark and other things that will give you even more stuff. And if those won't work for you, sign up and take a class at a local university, community college, whatever. Perhaps learn some machine learning. That might be a good idea. And that'll qualify you for a student account with Azure, and that'll give you some benefits. So anyway, that's it. All you got to do is go to learnmicrosoft.com, follow the directions, or just Azure Microsoft.com products, DevOps, and hit start for free. That's all you need to do. Okay, so you click the free, you filled out all of your stuff, and you're into Azure DevOps now. So now we're going to actually set up our repo. I'll show you around the ADO portal, and then we'll create the repo and go from there. So let's go. All right. So here we are. This is my personal ADO account and the organization I've created. GorillaProgrammer.com. So of course I call it Gorilla Programmer. Over here in the navigation pane, we have the different features of ADO that we can access. Skip the overview. You can create a wiki in here. It's okay. It's not bad, but there's better wikis. So in general, it just doesn't get used much. The boards, this is how I actually run my teams. So this is your standard board. You can sit here. Oh wow, Sitecore workstation. Yeah, God, these are old. So you go in here and keep track of the work and stuff. As you can see, I really don't use the boards here for my organization, and your organization, you probably use this very heavily. What we're actually interested in here is repos. These are your Git repos that you have access to. Up here at the top, you see the organization through the navigation thing. To create a new repo, you click on this chevron and you come down here and you say new repository. Yeah, really challenging. So we'll just call this test repo. And we can select a gitignore. I have a personal gitignore that I use for that I've built over time that I'll check in here. So we'll leave this as none. We will have them put in the README file. So we click create, and there we are. So we have README is already done. So we can click here, and what's nice is we can actually click edit, and you can edit files directly inside the portal. We'll just clean that out. Intro. We'll just say under construction. It's readme.md, so you use Markdown. I'm not teaching you Markdown today. Probably never teach you that. We commit it. So just, yeah, that's good. We'll go to the main. All right, so we've committed the update to this. So the nice thing here is the README at the root level will show up anytime somebody comes to this repo. So if within your organization, putting this here provides information for other developers in your org to see what's going on. Into this, we can also add things like, oh wait, come on. Gitignore. So we're going to go ahead and create our gitignore now. So I've got this stuff on my clipboard, so we're just going to paste it. And there's some stuff in here that we're just going to remove. Yeah, we'll leave that in place. So there's our gitignore. Go ahead and commit that guy. And then we'll go ahead and set up our editor.config. What editor.config will do is set everybody up using Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code so that tabs are all the same and you don't fight over pretty printing your code, is why we want this. And perhaps we'll do a more in-depth coverage of editor.config, but for right now, all it's doing is it's setting up things like we use spaces instead of tab characters. Somewhere in here, yeah, indent size, we're using 4. You get into all sorts of silly arguments about, how to indent stuff, which I don't have time for. So then we commit that, boom, and we're basically ready. At this point, I'm ready to clone this repo onto my machine, move the code for the sample project into it, and then commit it. So this is done. So let's go back to the deck and keep moving. So now that you have your repo and we're all set up with it, you need to make a choice about your branching strategies, and there's a ton of them available to you. You can go with Git flow, do feature branches, or do trunk-based development, which is in general what you want to be doing. What I'm going to point you to, though, are some other videos from people who do a better job of explaining all the different ways to do branching strategies. The two that I have up here, branching strategies explained by DevOps Toolkit, And then why CI is better than feature branching by continuous delivery. Continuous Delivery's channel, I super recommend subscribing to. The content there is top notch. It's better than mine. We'll just say it. So anyway, go look at that stuff and pick a branching strategy. And let's say the interesting piece before I move on though is, like in my organization, I would like to take my team to trunk-based development, but we can't because of the way that we do releases into production. So within the team, we're doing trunk-based, but we still have other branches, our release branch in particular, which requires policies, which segues into talking about branching policies. So let's jump back into ADO and take a look at how to set up some branching policies for our repo so that we can get to work. So you've watched the videos and we're talking about branching strategies. So here we are, and we have the repo as we've set it up. Right now, we just have the main branch. So let's go ahead and create a develop branch where, oops, how about we actually spell stuff correctly? So we'll do that and create it. All right, so when people clone, we want them to use develop as their starting point. So we just went through here, the context menu, set default. Next, I don't want anybody committing code into main. I realize, but we're doing trunk based. Well, develop is going to be our trunk. So what we're going to do is scroll down, and we could use branch security to lock it. We could lock it, but I'm going to use branch policies because there are cases where I do want to be able to pull request into main. So we're going to set the number of reviewers to 2. And because my team only has 2 people, myself and another developer, I'm going to allow myself to approve my own changes. Usually you're going to want to turn on that they've linked a work item so that you have traceability that, oh, okay, this is why this pull request was done. And then as people do their PR, they'll put comments in, and you can check to make sure everything's, that the person's responded to any of the PR comments. Next, you have build validation. We'll be talking about build pipelines shortly, and you can actually hook up a build pipeline so when they do a PR, it runs that pipeline, and that pipeline has to succeed in order for the PR to be approved. And it goes through, then I'm the only person in this repo, so you come in here, and let's see. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we're seeing old stuff, but required, and then you can add other people in here, save it, so whenever you do a PR to this main branch, I'll automatically be added as a reviewer to approve the change. There's no save or anything. Once you've clicked all of these things, you're done. You can go back to the repo, and what you'll see is any branch that has a policy has this little ribbon icon next to it. So that's really all there is to, well, there's more things you can do, but that's what I've shown you is what I usually do, is just set up the policy and put some people to review PRs onto a branch. So like if we had a release branch, we'd set it up exactly the way I just showed you. So that's it. So let's go back to the deck. So we've got your ADO account all set up and you're good to go there. We created our repo and we put some files into our repo, editor config, things like that. So we're all good there. You've looked at different branching strategies, right? You went and watched those other 2 videos I pointed you to. The links were down in the description, by the way. So you've seen that, and you're going to do what you're going to do. And with that in mind, we also looked at how to set up branching policies within their repo so that, like, for instance, if somebody can't just commit directly into, say, a release branch, you have to do a PR and somebody has to approve it and so on. So you know how to do that stuff if you need to. That really is it. So if you have questions, you got your ideas, they go in the comments section as usual. Dislike the video, like it, whatever. Just please do something. The algorithm needs it. And of course, hit me up on Twitter. Happy to talk. And until next time, I'll see you later.